Hello and welcome to this video. This is a course designed for Master 1 class students at Pre-Service Training School of ENS of Bouzaria in Algiers. In this short video, I'm going to speak of the evolution of the Algerian English language textbooks since 1962 till today, attempting to draw a picture reflecting the move from linguistic to communicative competence ELT or English language teaching has witnessed in education in Algeria. I'll try to give a very short summary of the most significant periods ELT textbooks in Algeria have gone through. I'd like also to mention that this course is part of an activity of an online training I'm taking from an e-learning program conducted by Menturi Brothers, University of Constantine. I'll first recall some old textbooks and try to give some important aspects of each in terms of goals, methodology, and approach implemented in each textbooks. It's obvious that I'm not going deeper in my explanation due to time inconvenience. The importance of textbooks. It's worth recalling the importance of textbooks in classrooms. A textbook, in fact, is the first tool a teacher refers to while planning any lesson. It is the backbone of the syllabus since it holds the overt or covert objectives set by the curriculum. Teachers have to treat them with great care as they help them to walk through in order to attain the objectives prescribed by the syllabus, didactically, methodologically, and socially in terms of attitudes. Textbooks provide teachers with resources, texts, pictures, and activities. These are some samples of the first Algerian English language teaching textbooks used in different periods in Algerian schools. Course Book 1 and 2, Practice and Progress, and the latest of the new reform, My Book of English, and many other titles. As far as the objectives of this course, by the end I wish to bring the students to design activities from nowadays textbooks, taking into account some aspects like the approach, the goals of the syllabus, and types of activities. Besides, they will be able to adapt some irrelevant activities from other sources even. And finally, to assess their learners according to the official instructions set in nowadays textbooks. It's necessary to recall the difference between the textbook and any other source a teacher can use in class. Textbooks are the only references that students and teachers have to refer to, owing to the fact that they hold the objectives set by the curriculum and designers. It's in fact an official document a teacher has to follow and implement in class. The learners are also required to have a copy of it. Some teachers take risks to use alternatives to official textbooks. Commercial books are authentic materials which are initially not designed to teaching. However, some teachers consider them as effective resources to refer to because they provide them with text, articles, pictures that can be best exploited in planning lessons. I intend to set a quiz before embarking on this course in order to measure students' knowledge regarding some concepts related to textbooks. This step is important for me as a teacher in that it paves the way to the success or failure of the course itself. The students are required to master words such as textbook, curriculum, syllabus, approach, and so on. Algeria inherited a ready-made colonial cultural educational system during the first decades following its independence. French school system was retained as a standardized model and educational material. English language teaching had little complexity because the country had not yet established a very clear framework of the school to develop in general. As far as foreign languages, it was obvious to use traditionally British textbooks in the case of the English language teaching. Post-independent period witnessed a series of ELT textbooks in Algerian schools. The striking ones were undoubtedly those used during the 60s and 70s, such as Course 1 and 2, Course Book 1 and 2, which were typically British textbooks, which at some extent answered the needs of that period in terms of education. To teach Algerian learners a foreign language, that was the aim. The language input consisted mainly of artificial texts that represented the language aspect and grammatical features of English. And in Algeria, on the other hand, was the first Algerian ELT textbook. Its main concern was training students to learn a language through artificial language patterns that the native speaker himself would never encounter, because the aim was to master the structure. During the 80s and the 90s, Algerian education embarked on a new reform called Fundamental School. Spring 1 8AF and Spring 2 49AF contained a number of out-of-proportional materials. The former prioritizes dialogues, while the latter was meant to consolidate and develop the notions of English and its forms. These textbooks were characterized by simplification in terms of lexis, meaning, and characterization. In the late 70s and the beginning of the 80s, Algerian education saw the emergence of national culture through publishing national textbooks such as Andy in Algeria and Majid in England. The emergence of national awareness gave birth to a focus of national education programs and openness to the world. Majid in England and Andy in Algeria were symbolic signs of that period. Both textbook contents concentrated on identifying objects, people and location, friendship with letter writing and pen pals, inviting and exchanging of visits. The 21st century was a crucial transition in Algerian education. Globalization urged the so-called shift to the extent to embark on a new reform aiming at presenting the Algerian learners, with a new vision focusing on economic, social, and behavioral attitudes. The Algerian syllabus designers were sensitive to this issue, and this was reflected in the 20s textbooks under the title Second Generation Programs. A series of new textbooks have been launched or published since 2003 that reflect to a great extent the objective-setting curriculum entitled Second Generation Programs. The new textbooks are under use at the level of middle school as far as ELT under the title My Book of English 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the new textbooks provide the teachers with activities that help them bring their learners to use language in realistic contexts. Consequently, opportunity to develop communicative competence are mostly used throughout the textbooks. These are, in fact, the expectations of the curriculum. Adapting activities from other sources to make them more communicative is one way for teachers to expand learners' communicative competence. Conclusion. In any ways, a textbook is still the main source teachers have to handle with care if they wish to obtain the objectives traced by its designers and the curriculum in general. The shift from structural approach to functional then communicative competence is tangible throughout the periods that Algerian English language teaching textbooks have gone through. It's clear then that the textbooks must reflect the picture of the goals set by curricula, which is in fact only the picture of what is occurring in society and worldwide. However, it's not exaggerating to affirm that some positive aspects of old Algerian textbooks are still valid and have to be reinforced and encouraged by the Algerian teachers. It's a question of adaptation. Thank you for watching.